My name's Abi Bown and I wrote a play for Y Touring. The play was Mind the Gap. Mind the Gap was set in a tube station underground, and it explored 4 characters and how their brains worked, essentially. It was a play about the brain, but it was also a dramatic kind of story of 4 lost souls who were interacting with each other and trying to find basically a way out of the tube station, but a way out of their kind of brain dysfunctions, if you like. I think the brain obviously dictates everything that we are. It's if you're talking about memories, which Mind the Gap essentially was about, then we are our memories. And I think that, as a subject matter for drama, is fantastic. I come from a sciencey background. I've got a scientific kind of bent in the family. My mother was a science teacher, a lecturer, and although I kind of went on to work in the arts, I still find science topics, science subjects really inspiring and exciting, and as something to research and explore in depth. It's good fun, for one thing, fascinating journey. If you're writing about a scientific subject, then you obviously have to get your facts fairly straight, unless you're doing science fiction, I guess. I found working on Mind the Gap a difficult journey, but it was also, I was aided by the amount of kind of research stuff that I was given by the company. That was fantastic. So I had a lot of resources to hand. I would get sort of emails and sort of wadges of stuff through the post, lots of stuff to read, and of course I had a whole bevy of scientists at my disposal that I could go and talk to, and that was great. That was fascinating to meet these people who work in a sphere that is often kind of, people would say it's at odds with the arts. It isn't, but that's a general perception. So meeting the scientists, working with the scientists and learning from them was really good, and obviously I think the script benefited from that enormously. I loved science at school. I did the sciences, as they say in those days, and I wasn't allowed to do the arts. I wasn't encouraged to do drama or art and design. That's the way the education system worked in those days. But being able to marry the two in adult life has been fantastic. I gained a huge amount in writing this play. It was actually my first commission as a writer, as a playwright, and I think you never forget your first commission. I kind of wrote Mind the Gap on a wing and a prayer because I had no kind of blueprint. Sort of prior to writing for Y Touring, I'd had a play produced, but it had been my own piece, and it had been a kind of spec script that I had kind of nurtured myself. To be given a subject matter and to sort of research it and come up with the goods for a third party was a huge challenge, and one that I felt I was really supported through. So it was a huge learning curve, and it was the start, if you like, of my professional writing career. My memories of the process are, it was really quite, I won't say easy, but what I would say was my voice, my ideas, my story, if you like, although it's a play essentially sort of hooked in with science and with neurology in the brain, it is still a dramatic piece of work, and my story, my characters, my voice was, as I say, I had sort of license to do what I wanted, and that was very important, I think, and in no way was I sort of coerced by the science or by the experts, if you like, into sort of going down one route or another, although we had to get the science right. And I guess it was nerve-wracking waiting for the sort of the reports to come back from sort of powers that be to say whether, scene 4 is just ridiculous and, you couldn't possibly talk about stuff like that, or whether, what I was saying was actually going in the right direction sort of scientifically. So it was an engaging process. and it wasn't hugely painful, thankfully. Well, I think any theatre company that's encouraging new writing in any sphere is fantastic. New writing in the particular areas that Why Touring focuses on is desperately needed, I think. And the target audiences, although I see that you're branching into adult work as well now, but the target audiences, my play was for 14 to 16-year-olds. I think new writing for that particular age group is so vital, both for the writer and for the audience. And you can actually explore a lot of difficult themes, I think, in theatre, and get a lot of people engaged and a lot of debate started, which I think is, I mean, it's just absolutely necessary. I've got 2 teenage daughters, and I would, absolutely recommend the schools or whatever to take shows on board as a start of, discussing difficult topics. Why touring? I think it sounds like, or they certainly hope to be, maybe at the sort of cutting edge of new digital media, because it's everywhere. And I had a look at the Why Touring website last night, because I haven't had much to do with the company for a while, and it was refreshing to see that was a kind of branch of, another way into talking to audiences and to getting the young people involved. The writing I do at the moment is for television, and that in itself is a medium that is wondering how to kind of grab hold of audiences and get them involved and to keep them watching. And I think Why Touring, whereas going out to schools, going out to the community venues and the like is very important. I think in years to come, it's going to have to kind of balance itself with the new media that's emerging. It was a very positive blending of experiences and of talents across the board, from the performers to the directors to the scientists involved and myself as a writer. So that all came together and produced something I thought was quite exceptional.